And now for the latest installment in our Candidate Checkup series. Morning Joe medical contributor Dr. Dave Campbell paid a visit to Montana Governor and Democratic presidential hopeful Steve Bullock.
We flew to Governor Steve Bullock's home state of Montana to catch up with him in Helena on his daily morning run. I wanted to learn more about how this 53-year-old married father of three recharges his batteries on the campaign trail. Having run over 12 marathons so far, running, hunting, and fishing in the mountains of the state he was born in is his happy place.
It's something that it's kind of all for me. It's not just about fitness, like this is the time that I can be alone, I can think big thoughts, or, many speeches have kind of been written on a run, just kind of in the subconscious along the way.
You're thin, you're fit, you're 53. How long are you going to run?
Hopefully,
your whole life.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be running all the way until I'm no longer vertical. And it's not only for physical health, it really is for mental health. I mean, that even my coworkers can tell the days when I take a run or I don't. And so to be a better governor, to be a better father and husband.
Your family can tell when you're like a little pin-up energy.
Yeah, this is part of what kind of keeps me who I am.
This presidential candidate is a Columbia Law School graduate and former Attorney General of Montana. He was elected governor as a Democrat in a red state. He expanded Medicaid with a Republican legislature and is passionate about getting dark money out of politics, focusing on building off of the Affordable Care Act. His healthcare goals for America have been deeply shaped by his personal experience with his son and his father.
Our son, who's now 12, within 24 hours of his birth, he had a heart attack. I mean, we had great health insurance. This $600,000 that went into his first month of his life. We called him our miracle baby. No family should have to struggle with those things, or what could be on the back end when you're just hoping your son will stay alive. And my father, he had passed away from lung cancer. You think of home health care providers and we're all becoming caregivers as our parents age. And we've got to figure out that support system effectively from cradle to grave that assists along the way.
You're trying to strike a balance right now between being a very busy governor, running for president. You've got a family to take care of. How do you strike a balance there?
You try to be 100% as a governor, 100% as a candidate, 100% as a husband, and 100% as a father. And you don't want to let any of those balls drop because they impact the rest of them.
So what's your favorite thing to do on the weekend with your family?
The downtime with just my family, where I'm not governor, I'm not a presidential candidate.
You're anything but that.
Yeah, I'm just a dorky dad. And that time is sort of both what keeps me balanced and recharges me for the next week.
And these next weeks, coming off of the most recent debates, they will be plenty intense for the governor. He is determined to bring what worked in Montana to Washington. We sat down with him at his favorite local brewery.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hey there. How are you?
What do you love about this state?
I love we're surrounded by mountains. Yeah. You can get out and run in those hills, the public lands, streams, but I also love the people. I mean, folks here would do anything for the neighbor. So we're very caring people that both hold me accountable, certainly, but also, care about our communities.
How can a president in today's climate pass a health care plan that both sides of the aisle agree on and all Americans benefit from?
I mean, by making it not about the politics, but more about people's lives, I think we share more in common than would divide us. And if you make your case not just in DC, but out to America or to the people, I think it's possible, because I've seen it done here.
What would you say to the nearly 160 million Americans, maybe 180 million Americans, that are getting their health insurance through their employer?
At times, you might have some frustration because your deductibles are too high. You know, your out-of-pocket's too high. But let's improve that. Let's not completely tear apart the whole system and think we can start brand new. And I think that's what a lot of folks are talking about. Now, first of all, at times I think DC is a place where you give speeches. And I don't have that luxury. Like, I'll have people come up when I have my son at a grocery store. Somebody will tell me their personal story. You know, we're a lot closer to the ground as governors. So what I'll tell those folks is, I'm not going to completely disrupt your lives and take your health insurance away. Let's figure out ways to make it more accessible and affordable.
Those diseases of despair, whether it's overdose, addiction, suicide, how as president can you rein in that epidemic that's devastating the country?
I'm Commander-in-Chief of the National Guard. At times I've felt so helpless seeing an epidemic of suicide, but I think there are things that you can do. We went first to get rid of the stigma. You'd never leave one of your fellow soldiers on the battlefield. So if you see one of your fellow soldiers struggling, say something. Because, you know, we make folks that join the military make a commitment to us, and we got to make a commitment to take care of their physical and mental health.
How are you going to be able to beat Donald Trump?
I have no doubt that I could beat Donald Trump. I do well not only on the coasts, but in a lot of this country that often feels left behind. So I think you beat him by making it less about him and more about Americans.
What's his nickname for you going to be?
I don't know. What'll be, you know, maybe Small State Steve, maybe the guy from the mountains.
How can you take what you have learned and are doing here in this state and help translate it across the country?
What I've learned as governor is I got to work with people, sometimes even people I don't always agree with. I've got to make it more than about the political food fight of the day. And I've got to figure out ways to not just give speeches, but impact people's lives. And I think what I've been able to do here, DC could learn a lot from Montana.
Yes, they could. I tell you what, that was fascinating. Dave always seems to get the best out of these presidential candidates, and they relax, and just a great, compelling interview.